Rosen Yavi, good evening, and good evening to everyone on TikTok. Mijidisa Ubia Ehunye. Right, it's a pleasure to see all of you. Yebabedim Komo Kakra Afa Yadisua Yesua from the book of Proverbs. Yede Ebebo Yebra this year 2026. Yɛn nyinaa megye di sɛ yɛpɛ sɛ Onyankopɔn ɛyɛ yɛ adom na ohyira yɛn kɛseɛ paa afiwe. Sɛdeɛ meka no, asɔfoɔ bebree a wɔn aka asɔfoɔ apapafoɔ no na wɔn akasa this year. Obiara na yɛn akora yɛ can perceive in yɛn spirit say this year 2026 ɛyɛ afe papa paa. But we will reap the benefits and the fruits of this year 2026. Now it was a position strategically. Sebeya unkosi unshira anokwain. Enonte yemu bimu ye decide say ye the book of Proverbs and be share 2026 nasi. So that we condition and position our minds ready for success for this year 2026. And until end 6th of January, you started on the 1st, and Yamin Chadie and the 6th day. Into already no utmusa afeno washa see a true America. The year itself is not wasting any time. Into yen so as Nyame we will not waste any time. Right. So won't me and join me in first 5 days now up to Enra. Feel free to hop onto the YouTube channel Lady Marie Amwakwaboedu na wa join it. And also wait me I catch it up. So went me and share program no YouTube no swa. Just me this will be our Bible and when you feel yeah do na believers a Christopher. To me this will be our Bible when you feel. Woni bi krampo a ewo fi a enemre smartphones ya ye kure obia wo Bible woni phone so ana asese woni bi download the Bible app no ewo phone so said be ya obetimi akan Onyankopon asem as many times as you want in the course of the day. Na empo social media so aye we obomoden na u follow platforms a wo mo kire nyame asem sebe ehono correct platforms spirited tie a no correct spirit na we follow so that all social media so na at least every so often no scriptures ebe pop it up na with me ejina ebiso ede a meditate and as now they are bumpy briefly. So remember Jesus says we should watch and pray. I think that this year one of my key phrases for this year is watch and pray. Yemi yenindaho, yema yenindaho, na yemompaye. Okay, and you drew chapter 6. Like I said, it's either I give a brief synopsis of what the chapter is about before we delve into the reading of it, or we read and then we break it down a little bit. Now, this chapter is quite a long one, actually. Now, they are short. I'm saying, we read one full chapter. This one is quite a long one. It's 35 verses. Let's see what we can do with it. Why? I've already prayed and I've asked the Holy Spirit to be here with us. So you can also say a short word of prayer wherever you are. Now, this one in particular, chapter 6, again, I like the way the book of Proverbs, is written, whereby it's personified into, at one point it talks about, like yesterday's chapter talked about an adulterous woman and what, qualities be no man as attributes are, and your papa, and he say, yeah, adopted. And then it teaches us the reverse as well, which is what we actually need to adopt and operate in our lives. In this particular one, it's parental counsel. And I say, or bad time a parent are all too nebafo. Now, in this case, the parent is God Himself. And you see or listen to this as God Himself to menu no fo said ya e was a yebo abrabono isifa. Okay, and I'll go ahead and start reading. This is Proverbs chapter 6, reading from the Amplified Bible, Parental Counsel. Or say, my son, if you have become surety, guaranteed a debt or obligation for your neighbor, if you have given your pledge for the death of a stranger or another outside your family, if you have been snared with the words of your lips, if you have been trapped by the speech of your mouth, do this now, my son, and release yourself from the obligation. Okay, so this is a very important instruction we are being given here. Enye amanye bia ene wose wankasa ukukuru wo na wode wo ho kokoshim. Enye emmoa bia obi hie bia ebia wohwe a untumi nye. Nanso esan se wunnim se de esika no nti. Wunnim se de esika daabi nti. Na ebia woyɛ people pleaser nti. Wode bibia wo so wobetumi aye bibia wo si yo. Na wakɔ akɔma pledge, wakɔ akɔma vow. You give somebody your word. Afei wobɛhwɛ no na wantumi anyɛ ade korɔ na ama no wantumi andeliver. Now feel so you've got to be very careful about that if you're such a person. This year, no, once again, maweninaho, search yourself, search your own character, search your own habits and all that. Na the ufu say a weakness or fall short kakrano. Work on those areas, and where it's necessary for you to say no, do not be afraid to say no. What you say? To save yourself. It's a hand or you saw an example of funny say wadamfo ehia loan from a bank. Yeah. Na funny say wadamfo no or banker onya loan no by themselves. And then you or baby sour, then you say, okay, I'll go and stand in as a guarantor for you. I'll go and stand in as a surety for you. Mekwako guarantee amao. Now wo de wo wanim any wenu nyam udin a wabɔ ho ban. Na wo de akwa akodi obi anim na bia wakɔgye bosiama no. Afei bɛkɔ wie kyire no na akɔyɛ nsɛm bebree. Nti no ɔbɔ yɛ kɔkɔ. Enye loan we nyina examples are all but we can relate them to so many other areas in our lives, and as so many other things that we do in our lives, we just have to be very cautious. Okay, or say giving your pledge to a stranger or another outside your family. And no the nyame kra na ese me catch it, but and no social media so a lot of people giving pledges to people on social media, people you've never met before, people you don't know from scratch, you don't know them from Adam, you don't know them from anywhere, but you're making all manner of pledges, etc., etc. Nisani mani na. Thank you, Tijanida. Thank you. Into the Sanya money and also ma when na you're very watchful and very careful about things like that, as well as your words, especially for somebody. I mean, this goes to somebody like myself, for those of us who make videos on social media, especially political videos. You'll come and sit here, make a video, overly passionate, you say something, sometimes it goes overboard, maybe you exhibit some anger or whatever, you say something, and maybe later on you regret it, and now your action be perhaps later on you regret it, but then because it's on video, it's live, and then with screen recording and all that, people capture it very quickly to use it against you as you go on. The book of Proverbs cautions us, or caution you say yema yeninaho. What you see? It will say, do this now, my son. Release yourself from the obligation. And basically, for somebody like myself, if I'm doing my own introspection and I'm doing my own personal reflection on my life, which includes the videos I make and everything, then of course there are certain things, there are certain topics people remember discuss biom. You get what I mean? Because you look back, you weigh bibia, and you're like, okay, maybe aha me can say I understood what I was saying, but it was taken out of context. And as it rubbed people the wrong way. And now bibi, and I ebia may say I do a lot of sarcasm, but maybe people don't get the sarcasm. So if people are not getting your sarcasm, then stop doing the sarcasm. What I say, and so on and so forth. And when you know as you reflect, as you do the introspection, you work on yourself. And like I said, you do it in several other areas of your life. If you have the wheel of the 7 fundamental areas of life now, your health, your career and business, your relationships, your family, etc., etc., your finances and all that, now 7 fundamental areas of life now, you can apply this now. Baby, baby, I will fall short near the areas so working on yourself. And this year na why you why you kasa the way I will kasa any idea. Some of us, we've had to, as we were growing, we've had to learn how to talk. What's the say? Me say several years ago, me share my husband for friend. I've said this, and we've said it together in our time with Eric and Marie program. But I wouldn't filter anything. I would just say it boom, boom, boom. And my husband would be like, and it will make us argue. And I would ask him, but why are we arguing? Or say, it's because of the way you said it. What I say? And so it took me a while to really understand, say, oh, okay, I could have said it better. I could have said it in a way if you're rubbing it off the wrong way. And I said, this is an alternative way of saying it, and you're much more calmer. So it's taken years and it's still crap, work, work in progress, still ongoing. And it's good that we are doing something like this because it serves as a constant reminder for us as well. Okay. Also, since you have come into the hand of your neighbor, go humble yourself and plead with your neighbor to pay his debt and release you. What it means here is that the moment now people hold you so much, for your words, for your actions, and bibi. And for the money out so much say a drew baby, I just say okoko pacho. Now catch it almost say, you know what? It be a deal with me and I can't say me, Mesremo, me and me deme home, means me ye beam, into say no, mon fan chemi, so my inconvenience mo in anywhere, mon fan chemi. Why? But I have a life to live, into no me call. Aha, because the one, yes, sir, a nipa be, or they or mobile some and they will keep using it against you. But now, as a wabaye slave, be the nipa. Or wabaye slave, the nipa. Now you have to live to please nipa all the time, all the time, all the time. But we really can't live our lives like that as well. Aha. And empo efa says wadan fubi wabusuani bi obi eba baby sound for help bi. Na bia initially na ufeel se ubetumi aye enti wo ka yes ntem ana na wo fere onipa akro enti wantumi anka da bia nche no wo pene so. But later on wo dwen ho wo hwe wo ho when we said there be ade emi ntumi entna se na enka wano ntum because nipa no still our twen. Nti aha no ochire yes in a situation like that, you'd be better off going to, use the word humble yourself and go and plead. Kona kopa oni pa akro ne chew say when you a chew pass why you born, but a chew pass I gave you my word but me sorry. In hindsight, me sa dream hono enya ade a metimi aye nti we dia me serewa se ka obenye obi foforo betimi aye amawa. Me sorry say my inconvenience so that you release yourself because when release ho a na wo da so hye nipa na komam. Ebi a wan ko ka hwe bi which a lot of people do that. You're wondering, na nipa asimesi na mede ye na suddenly wa go quiet on me. Na mede na wa go quiet on me no. Afi wa nya kafo no obi hold you wona komam. Na bia wo bompa ye bi kwa na wa ko bompa ye bi egu so. Ene sa na ma no. Let's be very measured and very cautious of things and mindful. It's about being mindful of things like that. Or say, give no unnecessary sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Tear yourself away like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, and like a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, O lazy one, observe her ways and be wise. It was a young koshe sebe abua ntatia ant, as tiny as the ant is. Or see yen observe the ant no. Yeah, yen share the ways of the ant. Now, this particular chapter also talks about being prudent with your finances. Okay, being very prudent with your finances, being financially responsible, and so on. It's a one of my example said, look at the ant, oh lazy one. Yeah, we will be a lazy. I can't say we dream. And yeah, motto is procrastination. Lazy is anyhow, oh yeah, anyhow, that kind of thing. Or say observe the ways of the ant, and be wise. Okay, which having no chief, overseer, or ruler, she prepares her food in the summer and brings in her provisions of food for the winter in the harvest. It's very self-explanatory. It's very, very clear. The ant has no president. You find say your Maya, the ant has no president, the ant has no overseer. Sorry, the ant has no bishop, no pastor, no prophet, no general overseer, no ruler. There's no or hinibia washing so or anything. But the ant is so wise to say during the summertime, when the harvest is ripe now. Ɔboaboa osiesie ne ho ɔboa ne ho de to hɔ for the winter time, the winter months na nneɛma nhyɛ daa nyɛ Auntie Abena, good evening. Nneɛma nhyɛ daa nyɛ harvest ne nhyɛ daa nnɔɔso bebree no na waboa ne ho for that time no nti time ne nso na wɔn a ɛyɛ lazy no ho ɛrekyerɛ wɔn no na ɔno ant ne deɛ ɔyɛ okay. Yeah, it talks about financial prudence, meaning say, take care of your finances. So, for example, let me give an example. Several years ago, Nigerian lady be a year Juma agency be London. Na obviously we Juma agency, you know how they do the pay. So like when we go back after any holiday, the first week we're not paid, you're paid the subsequent week, yeah? Okay. So what she used to do was that beko holiday biana the last week na holiday she'll ask the agency not to pay her, to hold on to that pay, and then you your holiday now, whether it's a 6-week summer break, 2 weeks Christmas break, half term, or whatever it is, you call back her. The first week now, she now has that money coming in because we're saving. Okay. The month of January, for example, a month that enipa bebree ho echere wo January pa, because Christmas itwa nipa bebree blow cash, Christmas presents, find the kusin sika ye money fee. Justice John, good evening. Sika ye money fee na de. Now January so na almost bare 5 weeks into na fe ahokyere kakraba. But a measure almost spending during Christmas looking forward into January, for January, and bronya no de edi mum, but sebe de nyansa to ho no. Say blow cash ni be dodo na struggle January no. Na bua ho yie no, ye somewhat okay. At least so basically it's things like that. Or you know how in the financial world they'll say to you, put money aside for a rainy day. And I say, say, also sometimes they will do a while or you may be na ebia why you money do baby you want to leave and look for a new job. And oftentimes they will tell you, say, before you do something like that, make sure that you have 6 months worth of sika dahwa a bit to me a cater for monthly spending. Said now expenses for the month. I'm running away before you leave. I will train for. Okay, so that's if I say we jaya juma impona wuti fear. Sorry. So we jaya juma wuti fear. from at least over 6 months worth of sikada hwa. If it's going to take you that long to find a new job, so it's things like that. It's talking to us about all those things, using the ant as an example. And then I'll say, how long will you lie down, O lazy one? When will you arise from your sleep and learn self-discipline? Okay, when it comes to discipline, Krana, self-discipline, being able to discipline your own self first before you go and try and discipline others outside, or even try and discipline your own children. And I've given an example here. Several times I've shared through my videos. Say me mano mo ye nkwara bi a oh ye hypocrite. Me mano be catch your point blank. Say mommy, you're being a hypocrite here. Nti before I ever told my children to go and tidy their room or whatever, I would make sure say me ankasa me wardrobe mo ye tidy, make them ye clean. Because the moment me call me call, yeah, hey, have you tidied? Have you made your bed? The first thing they will do is fa onase. Na woman twemika kohwe wo dem okohwe wo de ne say wo why wo de na say na wo ka kire ne say ono nye ne de na. And can you imagine if ya wo ka kire wo ba say make your bed. And then now them basa you have to now fe wo ba be ko wo dem no wo ma me na you haven't made your bed. Wo wardrobe ma emu aye basa, wo dressing table basa, empaboa da ha we da ha. But you feel the need say wo ka kire akwara ne say onkonkoye ono ne de. Children model what they see. They often would take actions based on what they see rather than what you tell them. And self-discipline, that's what it is. Make sure say wanka sankasano or you're self-disciplined. Now, I hope say you really idea way month of January made me up to a BBC so. And I would love to do something on health again, where self-discipline comes in. Maybe finances, we can learn a little bit about finance. I will see what my time looks like and how I feel as the months go by. Okay. And it was yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to lie down and rest. So your poverty will come like an approaching prowler who walks slowly but surely. And your need will come like an armed man, making you helpless. A worthless person, a wicked man, is one who walks with a perverse, corrupt, vulgar mouth. Okay? A worthless person, a wicked man, is one who walks with a perverse, that is corrupt and vulgar mouth. And if you are here and you are following people on social media who are corrupt, who have vulgar mouths, and so on and so forth, okay. Or see who winks with his eyes in mockery, who shuffles his feet to signal, who points with his fingers to give subversive instruction, who perversely in his heart plots trouble and evil continually. And Yamenameka, a Bible neka. There are people whose jobs almost sharia no pa, the only job they give themselves, and they say, or plotty evil, or cause problems. Baby, a problem in. There are people who look at people's relationships on social media. They sit back, they study certain friendships, they study certain relationships. Na omahwe ekwan ombebo ewurem na omakwa say relationship no na ono akwa sheho. Yes, they were sow seeds of discord. So one ye careful, na one ye smarter when you subetite no na obi aba be say oniema bebre. Ti we nyina ye niema a was see ma ye ni da ho. Now, if you are a person that also so wakuma bɔne nko a wo so w'adwuma a wo de ama wo ho sɛ wo wiase a wo baayɛ social media yɛ baayɛ monetization yi nti a wonim sɛ nipa ɛpɛ negativity nti baabi a ntɔkwa wɔ baabi a negativity wɔ no ɛhɔ na numbers no dɔɔso nti no wo de ane sɛ wo sɔre a wo stir problems, trouble, evil ne ade nipa ɛkompo na wo mu decide sɛ o yɛ nko biem yɛ gyae koraa yɛtumi nya nkrɔfoɔ no mo daabi mobɛko mo ntoa so ne saa nneɛma no dabi it's about time a nipa wobɛtwe wo ho free that kind of TBN for 2026. Why you be edru baby a aya mete say Ghana mpanifo ni bu ebi bu baby say why you be edru baby a yenka say why you be edru baby a to aso yes I no mo ka no saa ebe na eme de pa why you be edru baby a yenka say why you be edru baby a to aso aha enti mo bi mo why you be edru baby a 2026 yes see afifu from ma mo nto aso mo nsesa na yenyina yenko yenim. Okay, I'll say instantly he will be broken. Oh, there be Mami Sibi. Yeah. So a worthless person, a wicked man, is one who walks with a perverse, corrupt, vulgar mouth, who winks his eyes in mockery, who shuffles his feet, who points his fingers to give subversive instruction, who perversely in his heart plots trouble and evil continually, who spreads discord and strife. Therefore, crushing the weight of his disaster will come suddenly upon him. Instantly he will be broken, and there will be no healing or remedy because he has no heart for God. And you know, the Bible is very clear. Such people, they have no hearts for God. Baby, nyankopon asem wo. Nyame asem nam ha. E na omo nso omo nam ha. A Bible ni say nipa a omo te sa no. Se wo mo anya nuhu na se wo mo ansesa. Mo de mo yentina sidin ni afi ye ni hwa ade. It is just a matter of time before everything, their whole life comes tumbling down. To say Humpty Dumpty. I be be crumble, be tumble down. Now it will be instant, like the Bible says, and there'll be no healing and no remedy for such. So it goes on, and you read here to verse 15. 16 to 35 for the sake of time. I think say yebeja amamo ubia bit me reading it here. Either say your porn program here, ubit me a kind and ajo okoda. It will be a good read. In fact, a dear net dem pusa wo dampum. Say ye wo UK have, for example, yeah, weather na very cold, snow na di. Imagine say wo shempum na we kuru ho, you know, warm duvet na kata ho. Now what kind from verse 16 to 35. Unu 35 na wonka amen wie kura na wada so peacefully, so beautifully. And I will encourage you to continue reading the rest of the verses. Okay, right. So just a brief breakdown of the chapter, chapter 6. Chapter offers practical wisdom about our daily conduct and moral responsibility. It warns against financial irresponsibility. Or use the ant as an example, especially in terms of guaranteeing debt for people. Let us take that very seriously. And yet debt so we do be name akwakwaje bosianko. But impo say funny say, you know how sometimes ebia obi betime who say find say wo connection bi, wo network bi. Penyini bi ebia wo ferry no ana bibi. Na ebi obi hia mo ebi. Don't be so quick to take people to inkofobi impenyufobi enim, because when you're careful obi bitimi akwakugo enim ase wo ho. What you say ebi a wodi obi beko na wode wakoye introduction ebi a penyini kro no ogidi se wa ye due diligence wa vete nipa na ansa na wode na eba wonti e na ebi a waje nipa no afi woda na ho ana nipa na akwakoda suban bi edia wo na ye de blame no ebebre wo. When you blame never to so afi wanye careful mpo a de bia meka se de ehu wo mu kura se wanye careful na panyin kwa wakate wo off na afi wonni ma de kwanti a on feel biem, because no bia na be edi feedback ebebrew mpo se bia adwuma ya yekope wa abuchire kwa wotumi kope adwuma wa ha ya mfa adwuma na ama wo kura se nye de bia na ye ma wo feedback adequacy. And let's be very, very careful in terms of things like that. And then it also cautions us against laziness. Okay, which NODA will be at here. And then it also tells us to the end now, verse 35 now. It cautions us about behaviors God hates. Behaviors binomo wa nyankopon ompe. Behavior binomo wa nyamempe. Ade a nyankopon mpe so na ono na ohyiraye no. Why would you do it? And especially just because nyankopon ye ohumobrofo nyame it would you feel say oh mame nkoye me wi amekwa kobisa for forgiveness mame nkodi boni we me wi amekwa kosere nyame for but wo de bia na wo de enida ho it doesn't work like that. Some of these are pride. Nyankopon pe pride. Nyankopon pe pride. Obi ade bia okasa me I. Or you're so self-centered. Ade ni nyina gina ono no so onhu other people, onhu we, onhu us. Or not the I nko. Be mindful. When you're such a person, be very careful. Dishonesty. Nyankopon pe dishonesty. Nyankopon pe dishonesty. You see, it is dishonest to tell Onyonko say program B starts at 1 o'clock. But when him said we're starting at 3 o'clock. It does end, but you encourage people to come at 1 o'clock. That's being dishonest. That's being dishonest. See, little things like that. Let's be very mindful of Sanya Mano this year. Violence, Nyakupon pe violence. Ntokwa. Edi bia ntokwa. Tam bia tension. Debi nyamin pesa. Sowing seeds of discord. Aseme ni ho usie wo. Sowing seeds of discord. Ghana fo bebre pesa die no. Se ohun se woni obi na ma na wafa phone na nipa asimesi woni mo no na wo ye sure de na wo ntie de nkofo ka ne ho eka fa ne ho nti wonim nti wo de wo ntie ene me ka che ya hwe onyi who sow seed of discord una abekwa ka che obi so wonhwe ne ho ye ada na wo allow nipa na onwan kasa on find it out for themselves. But a lot of Ghanaians are like that. Because some time ago me a program bi wa ha and me de ohene yeri gift yanti ye invite ne ma obi gracie occasion ne ma yen and me kaisa ye fan from the airport or kasim bi tre me ye tika ma ye ba o say hey unim se nkrofo frɛ me bisa me say am passe me ba anase odi manima to flyer no so keke. That's Ghanaians for you. Ghana for no. Now, who should be the obedient to flyer so no? Why couldn't you just believe? Say I am pa nipa say yeah program date near time near hotel near BB or the address BB nipa si mesi na eba. And then I want to mean Jindi. It's because one kasa we a dishonest person. Won't trust it wow. In the sense I won't trust it wow. You can't even trust. Ufu say obia te say wo. Your problem back no. Yeah bedudo na trust it omo aho. Enti omo fu se obia te se womo and into we share your community yi mu a oftentimes say womo ye program bi if I say be a UK ha and sometimes yeah, there's United Showbiz Ghana Saturdays and you may be brea ye share United Showbiz. Sometimes celebrities never tena ho you hear them say oh na program bi ba bekoso but nipa asimesi we were expecting him or her but one promote program no things like this. Oh, and mama yenhwe behavior no ne adenya sa ne mane nyina nyankopon ompe seeds of discord you be nye ye wo se waye en twato so na de akose de akopapa nipa ntem e de akose nipa ntem enye entem sometimes maybe some me entem mo bi mo da mo da pa because the amount of bonini evil ebi moyena, I wonder, do people sleep? Do people actually sleep and enjoy a good night's sleep? Hey, do people actually sleep? Because the amount of energy and thinking it takes to plot and plan and scheme evil against another human being. No, some of you, do you sleep at all? Mother. 2026 okay, and then the chapter also cautions us, just like yesterday, against sexual immorality. If you're like that, this year is a fresh opportunity. Make a U-turn. Okay, so in a nutshell, no, that's what the chapter, Proverbs chapter 6, is about. Yeah, financial irresponsibility. Let's be very cautious about that this year. Behaviors that are ungodly, this year. And then laziness. Oh, you'll be lazier. You will free laziness. Okay, and be productive. Do something with your life. Okay, great. You're the best here for tonight. I encourage everybody to read the rest of the chapter, the next few verses. Now I have this affirmation thing. So I bought this book from Amazon, and in there was a page full of how many affirmations? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3 into 18 beautiful affirmations. Into the moma yanka bear me and sembi na yemfan closey na yenkoda. Indeed, this is something you have to say out loud. Of course, maybe through the camera, but wherever you are, so we'll drive you. Well, I don't expect you to be driving and be watching a video, but so where you move, wherever you are, we'll share, so we'll feel whatever. Baby, I will be just you can even whisper it. Okay, so let's do 3 of the affirmations. I think that every night maybe you bear 3 of them until we've done all of them, and then we can always repeat and repeat and repeat. Okay, and the first one, let's say, I am dedicated, focused, ready to succeed in my career or business plans. So let me read that again, and please repeat it. It's good for one because you're speaking these things into the universe. Okay, so I am dedicated, focused, and ready to succeed in my career or business plans. Every day, I am becoming healthier and more balanced. I'll repeat that. Every day, I am becoming more healthy. Every day, I am becoming healthier and more balanced. Third one, I attract love, kindness, understanding into all of my relationships. Let me read it for the final time. I attract love, kindness, and understanding into all of my relationships. Praise God. Yeah, the base here for tonight. And you may porchina the next 3. And you maybe I may buy 3 until see you be 18 now your son start to be. Right. All right then. Love you guys. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.